Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming MCS exams happening in November 2024. My name is Nick and I'm one of the lead tutors and evaluators for MCS at TCS. So let's look at the session plan. First things first, I will be sharing some last minute tips with you to make sure that you walk into your exam with a positive mindset. And on top of that, as the second part of today's webinar or workshop rather, I will be opening up for a Q&A. So by this time, you should be done with almost all your mock exams. And if you still have questions or if you have last minute doubts, you can clarify all these things in the Q&A session. All right, so what are you supposed to do to maintain a high level of confidence on the day of the exam? Because, I've highlighted certain tips pertinent to, creating a positive attitude in the fourth webinar, exam prep. I highlighted the fact that, a week before your examination, sorry, a month before your examination, what you need to do to build a high level of confidence, because as per the CIMA examiner, if students are confident about their skill set, if they believe in themselves, then they will do an extremely good job at their real examination. So with the intention of maintaining the same type of positivity and confidence a day before your exam, as well as at your real examination, what are you supposed to do? So before the exam, you have to rest your mind and body. So that's exactly why we have highlighted, as per the study plans which we have shared with you. We shared two different study plans, an 8-week study plan as well as a 3-week study plan, especially focused on those who started preparations a bit late. So according to both these study plans, I've highlighted the fact that you need to take a day off a day prior to your exam. You have to stop all your work a day before your examination. So if your exam is on a Wednesday, you have to stop all your work by Monday. Why am I asking you to take a break a day before the exam? You might think that I'm asking you to waste time. You might think that rather than taking a break, shouldn't I go through my mock exams? Shouldn't I, work on my answering technique? Shouldn't I go through answer plans, try to redevelop answer plans and whatnot? No, avoid all these shortcomings or avoid all these inefficiencies which will expose you to a stressful situation. So a day before your exam, the objective of you taking a break is to make sure that your mind and body is well rested, because as I've mentioned throughout this webinar and workshop series, the CIMA examiner tries to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in a real life corporate environment, if you are to function well, if you are to be successful, if you are supposed to conduct your evaluations or provide the best type of recommendations, then it's best that you are well rested. So let's assume you are walking into office on a Monday. If you were up till late on Sunday, if you were up studying, then and if you hadn't slept well, then it will impact on your performance in an adverse manner. So a similar situation is created at your real examination. So it's as if you are walking into office. So a day before your exam, start relaxing, because this examination, the MCS examination, as you know, has a good balance of theoretical elements as well as practical application. Both these elements are tested at your exam. So half of your exam is practical, half of your exam is dependent on theories which we have learned under your P2, F2 and E2 syllabi. So in order to come up with the best type of evaluations, you need to consider the information presented in each scenario. So in order to come up with answers which are totally aligned with each requirement, in order to come up with answers which are totally aligned with the information presented to you as part of scenarios at your examination, it's best that you have an open mind at your real examination. So in order to achieve this type of open-mindedness, you need to take steps to rest your mind and body, because just like machines, we human beings, when you consider our physique as well as our brains, you need to rest it in order to make sure that you are in a position to make full use of your brain, as well as if you are well rested, then you will be in a position to avoid unnecessary stressful situations. So rest your mind and body before the exam. Do not refer to any study material, mocks, or answer plans, especially a day before your exam. I've seen, students when they walk into their examination hall, an hour or 30 minutes before the examination. I've seen students going through their mock exams, their study notes, and whatnot. You are not expected to do these things, because if you try to go through a certain mock exam, then at the exam there's a tendency for you to replicate similar answers. But when developing answers, you need to consider the information presented rather than trying to memorize how to structure answers or what type of answers you need to develop at your real examination. So there's absolutely no point of doing all these things. You are supposed to conduct all your preparations and finish preparations a day before your examination, 2 days before your examination, and a day before you have to start relaxing. If so, you will come up with answers which are totally aligned with the information shared with you at your real examination. And it's best that you think that you are the finance manager at Shinyglas in the upcoming days. You just have 2 or 3 days until your examination. So now itself, think like the finance manager at Shinyglas. You might be still conducting your preparations. You might still have 1 or 2 mock exams to go, and you might still be redeveloping answer plans. So irrespective of what you are doing in relation to preparations, whenever you are attempting a mock exam, whenever you are redeveloping answer plans, whenever you are going through your study notes, always remind yourself, or always think that you are actually working for this company. Because if you think in these terms, you will come up with the best type of recommendations. You will conduct your evaluations in the most successful manner. Why? Because if you are the finance manager, you would try to give your best to your company. So it's best that you think that you are the finance manager in the upcoming days. And it's quite normal for students to feel negative leading up to the examination, because however much prepared you are, you will feel some type of pressure, because and on top of that, you would feel anxious, because you can't predict the type of questions which might be thrown at you at your real exam. You can't predict the type of scenarios which can be tested at your real examination. So however much prepared you are, even if you had adhered to our study plans, be it the 8 week or the 3 week study plans, even if you had completed all your work, yet you'd still feel that you have not done enough. Why is this the case? Because our brains are supposed to keep thinking about negative elements. That's exactly why we human beings walked out of caves and tried to, with the intention of overcoming negative situations, with the intention of finding solutions to our problems. So our brains are wired in a way that we are always thinking about negativities. So it's quite normal, even if you had done all your work, it's quite normal for you to feel some stress leading up to the examination. Me as a student, I was exposed to these type of issues as well. So whenever you feel stressful or whenever you feel negative, always remind yourself that you had done your homework. You can only tell yourself this if you have done your homework, but I hope you would have stuck to our 8 week or our 3 week study plans. And if you had adhered to these study plans, by now you are almost done with all your preparation. So whenever you feel negative, always remind yourself that everything's under control. You have done your homework, and on top of that, remind yourself that you just need 80 marks to pass. The total mark allocation for your examination is 150, out of which you just need 80 to pass. In percentage terms, it's just 54%. So it's not much. You can screw up half of your answers, still you can achieve a pass at your examination. If you believe in yourself, if you are in a position to avoid stressful situations, and whenever you feel stressed, whenever you feel negative, if you are in a position to improve your confidence by reminding yourself that you have done your homework and you just need 80 marks to pass, you will excel at this examination. And as I mentioned earlier, it's best that you are open-minded before the exam. So in order to achieve this type of open-mindedness, You need to avoid all types of stressful situations. So I don't want you to go through any study material, mock exams, answer plans, or watch any videos a day before your exam or on the day of your examination. Instead, if you relax, then you are taking steps to achieve the needed level of open-mindedness, because if you are open-minded, you will conduct your evaluations in the most successful manner. Considering the information presented in the scenario, you will provide recommendations, justified recommendations. Again, considering what's highlighted within each scenario, you will manage your time appropriately at the exam. And on top of that, you will structure your answers properly. So in order to do all these things right, you need to achieve a high level of open-mindedness. So in order to achieve this type of open-mindedness, you need to make sure that you are well rested before the examination. And during the exam, what are you supposed to do to maintain a similar level of confidence? Simply stick to the exam technique routine, because as per our exam technique routine, you are supposed to allocate 5 minutes to read through the scenario. 15 to 20 minutes should be allocated towards developing the answer plan concerning all subtasks which appear within a certain section. Then the remaining time, which could be 20 to 25 minutes, should be allocated towards expanding the answer plan in paragraph form. So as per what I highlighted in the third webinar, answering technique, you need to develop an answer. You need to develop a paragraph per answer point. So if in your answer plan, if there are 7 valid points, then focused on each valid point, you need to come up with a paragraph. So in your fully fledged answer, you need to have 7 different paragraphs. So if you stick to this approach, it's as if you are taking a break when you are attempting each and every section. What am I talking about? So you are supposed to allocate 5 minutes to read through the scenario. Then you are spending 15 to 20 minutes of your time to plan. And once you have planned, you know what you are supposed to include within your answer. And when it comes to typing the answer, you are actually not thinking. Instead, it's simply a matter of expanding your answer plan. So when it comes to typing out your final answer, you are not thinking. Instead, you are resting your brain. Since you are already aware of what you should include within your answers, you are simply focusing your attention towards typing. So rather than trying to multitask, if you stick to this answering technique, you are taking steps to read at the inception of of addressing the question at hand. Then you are spending some time to plan. Then you are spending some time to type. You are not trying to do all three, handle all three elements together. You are not trying to read, plan, and type at the same time. Instead, you are reading, allocating 5 minutes of your time. You are thinking, or you are planning, allocating 15 to 20 minutes of your time. Then utilizing the remaining time, you are typing. So when you are typing, you are resting your brain. So if you stick to this answering technique, it's as if you are resting your brain 4 times across 3 hours, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you, which will help you manage your stress levels in a successful manner. So stick to the exam technique routine. I hope you would have practiced this technique when attempting the 6 mock exams which we have developed for you. If so, by now you would have mastered these techniques, and at the real examination, stick to a similar approach with the intention of managing your exam stress and taking a break when you are typing your answers focused on each of the 4 sections. And although you stick to this answering technique, you might feel stressed. So whenever you feel stressed, as per what I highlighted in the 4th webinar, exam prep, I said that whenever a human being is being exposed to stress, why does this occur? Due to the fact that the amygdala, a part of our brain, is in full force. So whenever you feel stressed at your examination, you need to take steps to switch off your amygdala. So as I mentioned in the 4th webinar, when developing your answers, it's best that you utilize your prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of your brain. So whenever a human being is supposed to be involved with rational decision making, him or her is supposed to utilize his or her prefrontal cortex. However, when we are stressed, our brain functions will shift from the prefrontal cortex to a small part of our brain, which is known as the amygdala, which gives us the fight or flight response. So we cannot fight a stressful situation at the examination, because if you try to fight a stressful situation, it leads to extreme levels of stress. Extreme levels of stress will lead to brain freeze. So if you had attempted each mock exam under exam conditions, probably you know what I'm talking about. You would have encountered brain freeze when attempting each of our mock exams. So what I suggested in the fourth webinar is to make sure to switch off the amygdala, because there's absolutely no point of trying to fight a stressful situation, because you can't do anything at the examination. So the other option at your disposal is to move away from the stressful situation. So that's exactly why most students, when developing answers, they develop high quality answers, well structured answers, well thought out answers in tasks 1 and 2. Give me a second, please, guys. Someone's mic is on. I hope you guys can keep your mics on mute. So I was talking about the answers in sections 1 and 2 are quite all right. Why is this the case? Because students are not stressed, they are not exposed to fatigue. However, by the time students start developing answers focused on tasks 3 and 4, due to stress and due to fatigue, there is a tendency for students to provide rushed answers which are not well thought out. Why is this the case? Because the brain constantly tells you to get out of the stressful situation. So when you are getting the flight response, there's a tendency for you to finish off the exam as fast as possible. You won't think about your results. You won't think about, how if you try to finish off the exam, how it will impact your final results. Instead, in order to get rid of the stressful situation, you'd come up with half-hearted answers. So when marking your papers, that's exactly what I've encountered as well. Towards tasks 3 and 4, students tend to provide half-hearted, unstructured answers. So rather than providing unstructured answers, half-hearted answers, you need to take steps to switch off the amygdala. So the first step which you can take is to drink some water, which will be immensely beneficial because it helps calm your nerves. However, if you're attempting the exam at home, you can't do this. And on top of that, in certain examination centers, the invigilators might not allow you to take a water bottle. If so, this option is out of the picture. Even if you can't take a water bottle, or even if you can't drink some water, you can still switch off your amygdala. And the best way to switch off your amygdala is to focus on your breathing. So as per what I highlighted in the fourth webinar exam prep, what did I tell you? I asked you to close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. So inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. When inhaling, count to 3. And this should be a slow counts. And when exhaling through your mouth, again count to 3 slowly. So when inhaling, inhale through your nose. When doing so, count to 3 slowly. And when exhaling, exhale through your mouth. Again, count to 3 slowly. So when you do it for about 2 minutes, what you are doing is you are actually taking steps to switch off the amygdala, refresh your brain, and shift your brain functions from your amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are to conduct the best type of evaluations and come up with the best type of recommendations, you have to think through your prefrontal cortex. So it's best that your prefrontal cortex is in play at your examination. If so, you will come up with high quality answers which are well thought out and which are at all times rational. So you have to switch off the amygdala. The only way you can achieve it is by focusing on your breathing. So do it whenever you are exposed to a stressful situation. And on top of that, most successful students take a break before starting each section, thereby closing their eyes and focusing on this breathing technique. So once you're done with section number 1, before moving on to section number 2, before reading through the scenario which is applicable to section number 2, You can close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Inhale through your nose, count to 3 slowly, exhale through your mouth, count to 3 slowly. So when you do this, it's as if you are refreshing your brain before you start attempting each section. As you know, if you look at our brain functions, human beings, the attention span of a typical human being is just 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, there's a tendency for you to feel some type of stress. So at an office, whenever you have worked for like 45 minutes, and if you're feeling tired, you can walk away from your cubicle, you can drink some coffee, you can have a chat with one of your friends, you can drink some water, or if you're into smoking, you can smoke. All these things can be done to manage your stress levels. However, at the exam, you can't do so. You can't walk away from your computer screen. So the only way to manage your stress levels is to make sure that at 45 after 45-minute intervals, you are taking a break of 2 minutes before attempting each section. So take a 2-minute break between tasks or sections. And whenever you are feeling stressed, as I mentioned earlier, always remind yourself that you have done your homework and you need just 80 marks to pass. So you, even if you screw up half of your paper, you still can pass if you if you are committed towards the answering and time management technique, and at the same time, if you take steps to manage your stress levels. Because if you are capable of managing stress at the exam, you are halfway through. And on the day of the exam, always try to give your best shot. So it helps when you start thinking like the finance manager at Shinyglas 2 or 3 days prior to the examination, because if so, you will walk into the exam with the same type of mindset, thinking that you're actually working for the company. And when you approach each question with that mindset, then you will always give your best shot. And always try to be open-minded, don't try to memorize answers or replicate answers which appeared within our answer plans. Instead, simply focus your attention towards coming up with logical answers, because as I mentioned earlier, the examiner is testing your theoretical knowledge as well as application skills at your examination. So it's of utmost importance that you develop answers which are totally aligned with the requirement, and answers which are totally aligned with the information presented in the scenario. So don't try to memorize answers. Instead, your job should be to understand the logic behind the answers which appear under each mock exam which we have shared with you. You try to understand the logic behind each answer, logic behind each answer plan which we have shared with you. And at the exam, rather than simply replicating our answer plans or suggested answers, try to develop answers which are totally aligned with the information at hand. So the best way to achieve it is by trying to generate a high level of open-mindedness. So in order to achieve this type of open-mindedness, you need to achieve a high level of confidence. So in order to be confident, you need to make sure that you are well rested before the exam. And whenever you are exposed to a stressful situation, always focus on your breathing, get out of the issue, get out of the problem, get rid of undue stress, and keep fighting at your real examination. All right. So those who are successful in doing this, or the students who attempted the exams in August, and those who were successful in managing their stress levels and remaining confident throughout the examination, easily passed the MCS examination. So we achieved a 95% pass rate for the August sitting, and most of our students gained more than 100 marks. Those who had stuck to our study plan, and those who practiced answering time management and stress management techniques at their real examination were extremely confident, and they gained extremely good marks at their real examination. So after your exam is done, it's quite normal for you to feel that you didn't do a good job. Why would you feel in that way? Especially given the fact that this is a tough examination. You can't really predict whether your answers were up to the required level of standard or not. And on top of that, since you were under stress for 3 hours at a stretch, it's quite normal for you to feel negative. You won't feel that you have done a good job. However, when you receive results, you'd be amazed to know that you have gained extremely good marks. So it's all about, in these upcoming days, being confident about your skill set. Don't try to do too much, because human beings try to do everything under the sun when they are under stress. As a student, I, even after adhering to a study plan, once I'm done with all preparations, I still wanted to go back to my old notes and whatnot, with the intention of doing covering all elements which is unnecessary. Simply adhere to our study plan, and as per the study plan, I hope you would have conducted your preparations. So now it's time to relax. Simply conduct your revision based on the suggested answers or the answer plans which we have shared with you. Don't try to overburden yourself, because if you do so, you will be walking into the exam with a stressed mindset. And if that is the case, at the real examination, you would be stressed, and your answers will reflect the fact that you were under undue levels of stress. So avoid all these things. You have done what's necessary. Simply conduct your revision in the upcoming days and take a break a day before the exam. Start relaxing and walk into your exam with a positive mindset. All right, so having said that, I'm opening up for the Q&A. Let me pause the recording. All right, folks, so thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. So if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. And if you want to email us, you can do so via info@study@tcs.com, or simply drop us a message via WhatsApp. So go to our website. If you want to contact us, click on the contact button and drop your message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours. And I urge you to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because the recorded versions of these webinars and workshops are uploaded onto our YouTube handle. And on top of that, via the TikTok handle, you will gain access to a set of videos, which is a good mind map of the entire pre-scene. So leading up to your examination, keep watching these TikTok videos, so that you keep constantly reminding yourself of what's highlighted within your pre-scene document. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the webinar and workshop series, which we conducted in lieu of the upcoming exams happening in November. So I wish you the best of luck. Don't worry, even if you feel negative, it's quite normal to feel negative. So always constantly, whenever you feel negative, constantly keep reminding yourself that you have done your homework, and you just need 80 marks to pass. So even if you get half of your answers wrong, you still can pass this exam if you are confident at the examination. So in order to achieve the required level of confidence, be open-minded, start relaxing now itself. Only focus your attention towards revision. Don't try to do something major. And a day before your exam, take a break, start relaxing, because it will help you at your real examination, rather than walking into the exam stressed out without any proper sleep and whatnot. It's best that you are well rested on the day of the exam. And whenever you feel stressed at the exam, make sure to switch off your amygdala by focusing on your breathing. Because if you are in a position to manage your stress levels, you are halfway through your examination. So be confident, believe in yourself, because I do believe in your skills and capabilities, and give your best shot. Because if you are in a position to think in terms of or think that you are actually the finance manager of the company, you will come up with the best type of evaluations, and you will come up with the best type of recommendations. So I believe in yourself, in you guys, and I hope you believe in yourselves as well. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope to hear good news once the results are out. So be confident and be positive. All the very best.